right, good morning. How is everyone doing? All right, good stuff. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. So it is March 30th, 2021. My name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Let's go ahead and get started. So looking at the SPY, overall structure looking relatively bullish. We know that we broke out of this retracement area past two sessions. We're well above the 20. We're well above the 50. We're right smack dab in the middle of the channel, which can make things a little bit harder to find sort of good risk to reward setups, especially when just looking at the SPY. But overall, we're very close to all-time highs, and there's a lot of strength that is showing in the markets, even amidst some of the intraday weakness that we may be seeing. Let's see, this print right here is probably incorrect. So let me just correct that. It did not fix it. Okay. I'm gonna just remove the bar completely. Okay, so yeah, I just didn't want that to skew the perception of the chart. We can also switch over to ES if needed, but basically SPY putting in pre-market pretty clear level of resistance. We're sitting right at 396, about 77 looks like. And that, if that were to break out, we'd be looking at all-time highs. Overall, 4 hour, structurally 20, 50, 200 looking really solid, all in the right order. All of them starting to lean more to the upside, starting to trend higher. We just want to see, once again, if there's any reason not to be looking for a more bullish setup in this market. We are pulling down in pre-market, and we do have a couple things to review that may give us some alternate thesis ideas. But based on this perception and based on where value is, we're definitely leaning towards a more bullish structure. The play from VPOC to the VA high has completed, and that was amidst the breakout of this retracement. So if you were buying the support area or if you were waiting for the breakout, you've gotten plenty of follow through at this point. And this has been a move away from value, which is sitting around 390. As we're sitting at the VA high, 395.68 roughly, we're definitely looking to see if this bullish, I would say, breakout can occur both from the chart perspective and the value perspective. And what that would do is market participants would need to essentially show that value no longer sits here and that fair value needs to be built at higher prices. If that were to occur, we would start to see that form in this perspective. We'd even see it maybe on a slightly higher time frame, maybe like a 3-month, where we are sitting slightly above value once again on the 3-month at 390. It's the reason why this level is so important. If we're going to go higher, we need to build structure similar to what we did with 390. And if we do that, we'll probably do it closer to a relatively similar price level. Something like 400 would be kind of what I'm expecting for the market to do. So SPY structure looking good. Q structure overall still on hold. We're sitting in that range. We're sitting at 310 with some follow through. However, not a ton of market participation yet. We can see that on the lowered volume here. So we're still seeing basically a lack of conviction from the QQQ stocks to break us out of both this retracement and also this range. So as we're leaning down in the pre-market session in QQQ, we want to see once again, can we have a day where they at least come to test this retracement downtrend line? And if they do that, can they do it on volume? The lack of conviction is what is most concerning about this retracement. You know, if bulls really wanted to step up, they would step up at support, and they'd also step up on the breakout. So we still want to see that, and if they do that, they'll be targeting this previous high and this 325 area. Value here, past 30 days, we're right at it, so 313.89. Yeah, overall, just a lack of follow through from support. Very, I would say, limited risk to reward potential in some of these bounce plays. And for that, you know, the QQQ has really not been my focus as far as trading opportunities. We've just seen a lot of false breakouts, false breakdowns, certain stocks really not moving very quickly or very convincingly. So. And finally, let's look at IWM. Bring this to our moving averages. So we saw this bounce off of the 207, 208 lows. This was essentially a double bottom play after a significant pullback from all-time highs. We got 2 days worth of follow through, and then we saw some weakness yesterday at the 20, at the 50, the 20 starting to slope down. And the reason I keep these retracement levels on is because they act as areas of resistance, even if they've been cleared in the past. So we did see that yesterday. I would say that the selling in this index was certainly stronger than I expected. I was trading IWM yesterday, and I think I was a little surprised at how weak it actually was. There was reasons for that. Biotech is still having a lot of trouble getting off the ground, and financials are starting to see some selling pressure. So the combination of that really hurt this product. But overall, just from the technical perspective, we saw a rejection once again at a known area of resistance. It's a dynamic one, but therefore it still can be in play until we get well above it or well below it. And right now we're just sitting back at 215. So for bears, I think we're seeing once again this huge drawdown, a very muted bounce so far, and the potential for this structure to break us down through 210. The thing that I don't like about this is it's often very hard on this pattern. It's sort of it looks basically like an H. It's very difficult for shorts to get a lot of follow through on this pattern. And it's one reason why I don't like shorting at support from a big drawdown. You typically get this very aggressive bounce. And then I also don't like shorting here expecting a breakdown. I think if I were to short here, I'd be targeting the lows. And then if we get the breakdown, then obviously try and hold some of that for a more aggressive target back towards the daily uptrend support. And this is from the COVID lows. So from here, here, you know, the structure here is not looking overall bullish. While we are seeing some bearish intraday plays, I think they do need to convince us with a breakdown of this low that they want to take this market very significantly lower. Let's see, and then for value in this market, sitting above us, it's actually where we rejected yesterday. So we got up to VPOC, we pulled away from VPOC, and now we're sitting at the VA low. If you're playing sort of back and forth scenarios, you're shorting at VPOC, you're sort of dip buying at 215 with a very tight risk to reward, and you're targeting VPOC, so you're kind of playing a range. I would say structurally, though, the bears kind of have a good hold on this market, and I would be, I guess, less inclined to look at this as a dip opportunity just because of what we've seen so far in this market. So this market, IWM, just wanted to show the perspective of that from yesterday's breakdown. So this is going to be our Russell 2000. We looked at this, I believe, on Monday, if not last week. I can't remember. I think it was last week. And the fact that when you're looking at these index products, it's good to get a little bit of a gauge as to what's inside of the index, what it's comprised of, and what holds the most weight. Yesterday, this was sort of a full court press on the IWM. I would say outside of utilities and a couple of standouts in materials, pretty much every single stock in the Russell 2000 was selling. And this was seen here with a ton of healthcare being down, mostly on the biotech side. Some things called industrials, whether or not they kind of classify as industrials. And then a lot of these smaller IT-based companies. We also had financials relatively weak. They weren't necessarily selling super hard, but they comprise a good percentage of the selling, and they do hold a lot of weight. So that is in combination with what we saw in the SPY, which was relatively, I would say, green, not super strong overall, but nothing putting a lot of downward pressure in the SPY. And then the NASDAQ, while there isn't a ton of conviction on the Qs, nothing was really hurting us yesterday to the degree that the NASDAQ was selling. So definitely a mixed market right now. We're seeing some areas strong, some areas weak. This narrative that we've been carrying forward of focusing in the right areas, focusing in the right spots. If you want to be bullish, just be bullish in the sectors or the industries that are showing you conviction. And what makes this most convincing is looking at how these sectors play out throughout the days. Real quickly, just to get a gauge on some of our sectors. Bring this out to the daily, take this away. So in our weak sector category, we still have biotech having a ton of trouble getting off the ground, sitting right at the 200, which is typically a buying area for sort of investor / firm. They want to accumulate closer to these zones. And we did see some follow through on the first sell-off from this area, but they're having a ton of trouble getting off the ground. So I'm definitely looking here to see if we get some sort of false breakdown. That could be a trigger for another impulsive move to the upside. But as far as performance over the past, call it week, 2 weeks, biotech has really not been it. You can kind of look at this as sort of, this is often correlated to the Qs. I would say that this has broken that correlation and that it's been a lot weaker than the Qs have been. We haven't really seen a ton of conviction from tech yet. We are looking to see if they can break this retracement, and they do have the chance for a higher low structure here. So there is this opportunity presenting itself in technology. It just hasn't triggered yet. And obviously, if you bought some of these dips, you're kind of waiting to see whether or not this breaks bullish. Let's see. I think that's materials. This one. Consumer discretionaries. Little bit choppy, little bit range bound. This is the Amazon, the Tesla. There's a couple of home builders in here, but ultimately, actually, yeah, Home Depot, Lowe's, McDonald's, Nikes. Very range bound right now, some strong, some weak, not a ton of conviction. We are kind of sandwiched between the 20 and the 50. So we'd like to see at least one initiation candle, maybe with some volume that shows us more of a move away from value. If I were to pull up a volume profile, we'd probably see value right around 165. And that's because the market is still trying to decide whether or not they want to push it higher or push it lower. So, weak sectors, bio, I would say tech really hasn't triggered yet. XLY is looking for some directionality. And then we have strong sectors. We have XLP, which has been on a monster sort of breakout at this point. Multiple buying attempts here, both in this retracement at the 200, waiting for the breakout, after the breakout on a back test, and now you're getting a ton of follow through. So at this point, obviously, you don't want to step into this type of momentum. The downside risk is a pullback all the way to that breakout point. But we're seeing follow through here. We're seeing bullishness in consumer staples. Utilities, kind of an odd one for us to consider, but once again, sort of a dip buying opportunity, and this would be more on a channel-based structure. So we had this, retracement. It's basically a ton of consolidation on the daily. They were able to hold here, push it all the way to the top of the channel, give us a breakout, back test, and now they're following through. So once again, some bullishness in a market that has mixed signals across the board. Industrials, all-time high, pulled back to support, starting to break through all-time highs. Financials, starting to get a little hard to read, but overall pulled down and holding the 20. So bullish structure still remains. Energy, also significant pull down. Definitely want to see it back above the 20, but overall the thesis here being relatively strong crude market, relatively strong gasoline market, lots of, I would say, macroeconomic reasons to maybe be looking at energy strong over the next couple of months. And then communications, we had our risk with some of these particular stocks that were parabolic, and we saw 50% crashes in some of those stocks. But now that that's starting to resolve itself, stocks like Facebook picking up where they left off after this breakout of the retracement, getting a ton of follow through yesterday. Stocks like Google starting to come alive. I would say this is a pretty good day for Google yesterday amidst a lot of chop. Those stocks are really starting to grab my interest, both because they're showing strength and the sector is starting to clear out some of the risk profile that it had from before. And finally, home builders. I've kind of mentioned this before. HD, which is Home Depot and Lowe's, have been on some pretty strong momentum moves. We're probably going to see the end of that pretty soon. I see that home builders is pulling back yesterday, and that's likely because HD is probably a little tired. Lowe's is probably a little tired. So a pullback at this point would be something to watch, but this could be a buyable pullback in that we have broken all-time highs. And the structure of the chart, while a bit extended on the weekly and monthlies, is still in that sort of bullish daily structure. So a nice pullback, maybe to the 20, maybe to this previous all-time high. So in a marketplace where we're not seeing the leader as tech, which has been the theme over the past past year, tech has basically been the place you go for bullishness. Things are obviously shifting around. There are things that are strong. There are things that are relatively weak. And while we haven't seen a full correlation back to all bullish, all sectors, the sectors that have been strong have been holding us relatively well. You know, consumer staples, with how strong it is, has been supporting the SPY. Financials, albeit a bit choppy, have held up the SPY throughout some of these all-time high breakouts. And then for some reason, utilities being as strong as it is, it's a relatively small sector, but it is showing a lot of conviction to the upside. That has definitely helped. And what we're looking for now is, if tech breaks out, if consumer discretionaries get out of their sort of choppy range, will everything that was strong stay strong, or will they see pullbacks? And those are both trading opportunities where, if we just get a rotation back into tech, well, then we can focus on tech for a couple of days, maybe get some very short-term breakout and pullback retest sort of scenarios. And then we can also potentially fade or just take profit on some of these stronger sectors. If you've been fortunate enough to get into some of those sectors, you should be looking at where you're going to start getting out, because a lot of them are at all-time highs. So, you know, the profit zone is a little bit harder to gauge unless you project maybe some Fibonacci sort of projections or just general target zones. Let's see. So I had another thing I wanted to bring up. Let's see. Bring it back here. Some risks in this market. We're still seeing the dollar break higher. I would say at this point, this is a fairly convincing posture that the dollar does want to go higher from these lows. This breakout has not only had follow through to the previous high, but it has continued with multiple trend days to the upside. Perspective on the dollar is that we are still in an overall downtrend, but this breakout candle is showing us the potential for trend reversal structure. A pullback here could easily make sort of a monthly higher low and then reverse the trend after having cleared something like 94.60. Markets obviously like a weaker dollar for higher equity prices. So seeing this is not the best for the equities market, but we're also not seeing any reactions yet in the equities market. So whether they're discounting the fact that the dollar is getting strong, whether this has already been priced in, or just the fact that things are looming and we haven't seen the reaction yet, those things are yet to be seen. Overall, if we get a pullback in the dollar and the equities break through all-time highs, we get maybe a breakout in the Qs, that would at least lead me to believe that short term we could still have some upward momentum as the dollar is pulling back from this breakout of this retracement. So a risk, it's a noted risk, but we haven't seen any reactions as of yet. We also continue to see the VIX compressed at this point. It is elevated this morning. I would say you want to keep that in mind in your trading, intraday trading, as we saw VIX rise yesterday and we saw some selling pressure in the IWM and the SPY throughout the day. But once again, you know, this is more of a hedging opportunity. If your portfolio is something that you wish to either protect to the downside or just have a short-term hedge in the case of volatility expansion, this could be an area of interest for you. We haven't yet seen any signal here for a VIX spike and equities falling or crashing. So far, once again, a noted risk, not something that we've yet seen in the prices. And bond yields. We did have a significant move higher yesterday. They are opening higher on the 10-year at the moment. So amidst all of this, I would say sector rotation and certain sectors performing well in a higher yield environment, we want to keep note that some of the correlations we saw with tech being weak on higher rates have not really come to fruition in some of the pullbacks that we've been seeing. So whether or not this correlation comes back and tech gives us sort of that false breakout look, or if rates continue higher and things like financials start to pick back up, they really like this overall structure of the rates, and therefore can the financials just be once again the thing carrying the SPY to all-time highs while the Qs essentially consolidate or lean to the downside with tech being hurt by rates. So 10-year starting higher this morning. We also saw a push in the 30-year. So the curve is kind of keeping, I would say, relatively stable, but we also want to see if that curve starts to widen or, I guess, constrict itself or compress. And that obviously has different implications for financials. Financials not only like a higher yield environment, but they like certain curve differentials between things like 10, 20, and 30-year rates. And then finally, on a stronger dollar, silver, gold has really not been a great performer in this environment. As the dollar gets stronger, silver has broken through the 200 on the futures market. Gold has really not put in anything worth mentioning. We've seen some small bounces off of some support zones, but the willingness to sell is here, and that's mostly due to some of the strength in the dollar. So I would say if you're playing these markets, you're either looking to accumulate once we see maybe a pullback in the dollar, or you're just playing these short-term bounces and short at resistance zones. So. All right, couple minutes left. Let's see if I have any good questions here. Looking on YouTube. How do I trade an IPO? You wait until the IPO opens and then you trade it. There are some strategies. You definitely want to see good volume on the first open. Yeah, you can trade the IWM and QQQ itself. These are ETFs, so just like any other ETF, you can trade them. Bitcoin is on fire today. Yeah, let's see. Not really seeing too much else. One thing that I'm looking at just for some things are trade ideas, trade opportunities. So the cannabis sector, sometimes you look at ETFs like MJ, and this is going to be more your Canadian-based names. These are the day trading names that we're a little bit more familiar with. There's also ETFs like MSOS, which follow the American MJ market. Structurally, I'm seeing a lot of weakness in these names. And, just from the perspective of a pattern, let me just bring this back to the daily. There's not a lot of history on this chart, but the perspective of the pattern is that head and shoulders look. Certainly would love to see this neckline get breached and back tested for an entry. But short term, there may be some opportunities if we do get bounces in here inside of the neckline to get a better price point for shorts and looking for that breakdown through 40. The names in here are a little bit unfamiliar to most day traders, but I would say TCNNF would be your True Leaf, CURLF for Curaleaf, and then stuff like GTBIF for Green Thumb. Those are going to be your top 3 holdings. So you can obviously use the ETF to get long or short, but you can also look at individual names for some ideas. That's something I'm keeping on watch. I'm also looking at some of these beaten down sectors, things like TAN, the solar sector, which had a really strong run in 2020 and early 2021. Those have pulled back quite significantly. And while there is a lot of tendency here to sell, they also have not quite yet lost the support zones. So while it's consolidating here, I definitely would want to see what direction they take. And if they pull it down much lower, I'd be looking at maybe the 200 as sort of a false breakdown and maybe a rip through this retracement if they were to get bullish again. So TAN is kind of an interesting one. Obviously, some names here you can look at: EMPH, SunPower, SEGN, I think it is. Or I always forget this one. SEPG. GN. Yeah, I forget the names. You'd have to look those up. There's also some negative sentiment with stocks like JKS based on the fact that it is a China holding, and that can offer some opportunity once some of the negative sentiment has gone away. So these stocks were strong. They've obviously pulled back quite a bit. We'll see if they offer some buying opportunities in the near-term future, or if they simply have put in their highs and will continue to sell for the foreseeable future. So with that said, it is right up at the time frame. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Carlos and Norm. Obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to send them my way. And other than that, y'all have a great and safe trading Tuesday. My name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Carlos, Norm, take it away.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, buddy. I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Excellent. All right, guys, let's get to it. Starting here with what we had on our list yesterday. So let's jump into that. One of the stocks on our list was Apple. Let's get our 5-minute chart right in here. And we will zoom into, yesterday's action right over here. So good pre-market action yesterday. Again, their daily's been all over the place. And you did get an initial pop right at the open. Did break out of the pre-market high, which is a strategy that a lot of traders do. And actually, this one turned out very nice, beautiful continuation there. And then just a sudden drop here right back to the VWAP. So you had to be very quick on this one, and you can see here it just starts loose and then heading down towards the low of the pre-market area down here, and then just shoots right back up again. So again, it wasn't an easy, clean day yesterday. A lot of stocks had this choppy type action into the intraday trading for the most part. So that was Apple. Next, we had Baidu on the list as well. Another one that's also the day looks very good on this one. This is a great short. Shoots up, hits this level 215, and then you see the drop starting to come in here below the VWAP. Was an incredible 5-minute open range breakdown. This is why, again, sometimes waiting that 5 minute could be nice because it looked like this thing was going to be strong, and then just slams down, turns into a beautiful, beautiful short right below the VWAP. In here, guys, again, a lot of stocks getting really choppy into that mid-morning area. You did get a little breakout here at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock time frame. But for the most part, after this initial drop, everything else was pretty choppy into this one run here above the VWAP. So that was Baidu. VAIC Viacom. This one was a tough one to trade yesterday. A lot of us took this for a breakout here, myself included. We did get a quick partial, but then slants right back down, stopping us out at break even. Again, just no continuation. And then from there, just continues to just chop around. The price action was horrible on this one. It was just not clean at all. The other one we had on here was BA. Again, BA, just not a lot that look clean, guys. Also, this one, very choppy. Every candle overlapping the previous one. You did get a nice drop here on this one, but it's hard to trust something like this when the morning is just so choppy. Right, so it's very difficult there to take a trade on BA. Later in the day, it does get a little bit better, guys. Look at the support you build right here on 249 area. That turns out nice. You go and test that again towards the later part of the market day, and then another bounce there as well on BA. So pretty good pop there. CAN, this one was great for me yesterday, guys. Towards the long side, we took a nice breakout here. Again, you have to be quick to take out these partials. You was just not getting a whole lot of continuation. But man, I wish we would have taken this towards the short side. Look how great this one does after this first hour, this madness. It does settle down nicely, and it just grabs onto this 9 and this 20 and just never really looks back. Continues to break down. I was waiting for some kind of reversal that never came. And man, I'm so glad I did not take a trade on this towards the long side because you never saw that opportunity come up on CAN. Very active this morning, already up 6.7. I know Bitcoin's up nicely today, so that would definitely be on our list again. Let's take a look at HGen. Now this one here, we knew this one was going to be crazy, and man, it was very crazy at the open. Price action was wild. It was moving $1, and a half like nothing. I don't have the guts to trade something like this with the size I take. It's just really all over the place. I believe we got halted here as well. I don't recall 100% because I stopped paying attention to it as the way it was trading. It does settle down later down the day. It does get a little bit cleaner here, but man, this was a tough stock to trade. That is what we had yesterday, guys. Let's take a look at our overall market, what we expect today, and then we'll come back and look at our watch list today.
Chop.
Chop, yes, pure chop.
That's all I got for you. No, in all seriousness, we're sitting here in a spot of consolidation. If you've had a rough time recently, don't beat yourself up too much. Things have been choppy. Not great trading the last few days. I mean, there's tickers out there you can find that'll give you a good run or two, but it has not been great recently. So anyway, today got the home price index 9 a.m. consumer confidence for March at 10. So we'll see. Hopefully we can find some direction at some point out of this.
Yeah, fully agree. It does help us a lot when the market moves in one way instead of just chopping around like it is last couple of days here. Let's get rid of what we had on our list yesterday, and let's look at our gappers list, starting with what's gapping up today. MNPR, this one is up. What do we have here? 20%. Let's get some rows in here first. So up 20% this morning. It is a low flow stock sitting at 3.5. So this got to look really good. Let's see what we have here. It does not look great at the moment. 62,000 shares traded, but you can see this pre-market action is just very choppy at the moment. It can get better. We need a lot of volume on this one right now. We're not seeing that just yet. So let's give it a little time to get pick up and get going here. JMIA, I have not seen this one in quite some time. It can trade very choppy, but we have some pretty good trading days on this one as well. Right now they're up 8%. I do like this daily as far as this level of support that we're bouncing off of today. We try to break down from that couple of days here. Yesterday and the day before, that would have been on Friday. Have not been able to. So that could be a good area of support there. Interesting to see what it will do here. So I'm going to watch this one today, guys. Just, but again, keeping in mind that this can be very, very choppy type stock. CAN, again, this one was good yesterday. And so hopefully today we can continue. Again, they got volume. They're up 7%. I definitely want to keep an eye on this one. The Bitcoins are all up this morning. If you look at Mara, is doing well. Riot is is doing good as well. But I think that CAN usually gets the most volume, and as of now has the cleanest pre-market action so far. So you can pick the one of you like of your choice there. GSX, this one is up 7%. And again, these stocks just got so beat up the last couple of days. We talked about this yesterday, Norm, on these stocks. The other one was it Morgan Stanley? I forget the other one that got beat up pretty bad. Shoot, I forgot which one it was. But again, they're definitely oversold on the daily here based on technicals. So GSX is up now 7%, 900,000 shares traded at the moment. So that could be interesting. Again, these stocks don't trade very well. Their daily is not as active. The last couple of days, that obviously it has changed with everything going on. So might be worth taking a look at this one. See if we're going to continue with this active pre-market activity into the market open. CAN, we do have VIPS. We know is a stock that's also here's another one that's been dropping like crazy, up 5.6 again, getting a little bit of a relief here towards the top side. 2.9 million shares traded. So again, this is worth watching as well. Again, just got to be very careful. VIPS is one of them. TME is another one as well. You just got to be very careful with these guys because they could move quite a bit. So we'll put them on here. I might not keep them on my main list, but I know people will be watching these, so we'll do some levels for it. Just be prepared. LTHM, this one at the moment not looking good. No volume, up 5.1, but again, just not a great pre-market action, not a great daily as well as far as volume. EBON, this one is up 4% at the moment, 300,000. Not a low flow stock, but doesn't look good at all. Even with this 300,000 shares traded, this looks very choppy at the moment. So the daily seems, again, not a great daily, but it seems to be holding some kind of support here or slamming up against it now. So that could be interesting on the daily. But aside from that, I don't see anything else that looks great on this one. All right, Mara, we talked about GameStop. What do we have going on? They're up 3.4. More Bitcoin plays here. Riot is on here as well. Viacom, let's see what's going on there. This one is up 2.7. Let's remove some levels. Again, just madness on this one. Very difficult to trade yesterday.
GameStop got somebody from Amazon trying to, in their turnaround effort, they've got an executive from Amazon. So they're loading up the team with people to try to, go digital. We'll see.
With the momentum they have now, that's the way to go.
Maybe deep effing value actually, not only not only did he have what was going, but maybe he's right long term.
Could be true. Let's see. I would definitely got to ride that momentum if I was in the GameStop here.
He likes the stock.
Yeah. IQ. What do we have? IQ again. Big massive drop on IQ. We can watch that too. Let's see what happens there. All right. Let's see what's gapping down, guys. WVE. This morning, WVE, there we go. No, this does not look good. 192. Love the drop here, 26%. But again, this is all not looking well at the moment. Go EV, what do we have here? Wow, big drop for Go EV, down 16%. Do they have their own individual news today? That's a nice drop on it. Go VE. Let's make some space there.
Great earnings last night, man.
Oh, that is not nice. Big drop here, guys, in Go EV. So definitely in play today. 598,000 shares traded. Lost this great level of support that it had here down to this other level of support down at 967. And we have not been down here in a very, I think is this lower than their IPO price? What is this? Not quite. Might be. It might be. So yeah, that's a big hit for these guys. Definitely gonna watch that one. HOFV, this one again, it's just wild. I saw it yesterday, came up on the scanners. Just got to be very careful with this one, guys. Down 15%. We'll take a look at it. Let's see what's going on there. Again, it's not a low flow stock, but it can move quite a bit there. DNMR, not much going on there. We'll do two more here. AU, this looks foreign, but this is a very bad daily here, by the way. If you want to see an example of a bad daily chart, this is it. Look how choppy this is. Look how many gaps you have in between. It almost looks foreign. It might be. Here's a LI. LI is down 3% this morning, 409. I like the daily on LI for a possible loss in the test of some of these levels down here. So that does look interesting. We're going to add LI to our list this morning. All right, let's stop here. Norm, what do you like today?
My pillow, as authority asked, is today a my pillow day, and I think it is.
Yeah, things are not as great. And again, just the chop that we've been getting lately. You got to be very careful with these entries, man. You gotta,
For
if something's not
for
doesn't go your way immediately, get out immediately.
for
You
just
know.
just to clarify on that for anybody that's new, what was it? I don't know, 6-8 months ago. You asked what I liked, and I said my pillow, meaning going back to bed,
Mm-hmm.
not the company. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to clarify. I'm not talking about putting on a silk shirt and a gold chain and
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
dying in a
man.
ditch in Tijuana. But
Let's get to the chats, guys. Let's see what we have here. Let's scroll to the top. Who do we have here? Let's start here with Ross. You have CSCW. At the moment, they're up 76.9%. Wow, 34 million shares traded. So this is definitely in play. What's the float on this bad boy? CSCW. What do we have here? Doesn't look like a low float. You can tell by the way it's moving. 43 million. So again, it's a larger flow stock. It's definitely in play. We'll put it as a possible for now.
NFT news.
Oh, it
So
is. All right. Doesn't look too crazy on this one though. But man, that's what's hot right now. We'll take a look at it. We'll put it as a possible right now. Not usually the type of stocks that we go to, but let's take a look what happens there. FU
now
TU.
F you.
TU. Let's see what we have here, guys. At the moment, yeah, pretty much flat right now. I see what you're looking at there. Hamish, you like the daily, right? The daily possible breakout continuation, but as far as volume is pretty light. So, and we know this ticker, right? So we'll wait for this one to hit the scanners if that's going to be the play that it goes for today. Turbo breakup looks very nice in the daily, nice pop over the last couple of days, but it's got to break out here. It can't just be choppy as well, but that daily does look very, very interesting. Heading down, what do we have? Okay, no, nothing there. MBRX, what's going on here? This is popping up 26% this morning, 2.9. I think we looked at this before. Not a great daily, but that's okay. This is a 26, so not a low flow stock, but it's borderline 26 million. We'll throw it on here. It does have a great active pre-market activity. MBRX this morning, almost 3 million shares traded. It's got it going on right now, so that's good. Okay, heading down, we have NNDM. And I don't like the way NNDM trades. Let's see how it looks today. I don't know, for some reason, I don't have any luck with this stock. At the moment, they're down 2.7 at 262,000 shares traded. Pre-market's okay, it's not great. Their daily does look decent, though. You have a nice little drop over here, sitting at a great area of support for a possible drop down to these levels. Yeah, that could be interesting. I'll add it on here. But again, something about this stock's intraday price action that does not do well for me the way I trade. CSCW, all right, we have that one. We'll take a look on how that NFT is going to go. American Airlines Daily, let's take a look at that travel stock here. Yeah, their daily is just consolidating here. I don't see anything explosive right now. Volume is very light. We know how we like American Airlines to have great volume, sitting at 500,000 plus, 700,000 plus here. It's, actually into the millions, really. But it's not doing a whole lot right now. Very, very choppy. Could be interesting. Nice bounce back a couple of days ago we're sitting at 21. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But we know this again, another ticker that we know. We have to wait to see how the market is gonna be today, and we can look at the travel stocks. Let's just look at CCL as well. Anything happening there? No. Their day looks okay, but not a whole lot going on there. American Airlines has news. What's the news today on American Airlines? That could be interesting. Although their volume is not showing that right now. Mark is giving us X. Let's take a look at X. This is X. All right, so what do we have here? Up 1.8. Pre-market is just nasty right now. Their daily's okay though, right? I got a nice little pop here, beautiful continuation, possibly a continuation into today's trading day. It could be interesting. Possible. All right, Tesla loss of 600. Let's take a look. into Tesla this morning. What do we have? Yeah, they've been flirting with this 620. They lost that, now possibly the loss of 600. And you tested that a couple of times here. It's a good level here. The last two trading days, that's been the low. If you go back into early March, you can see that was tested a couple of times. We did break down into 537, right? It's a big drop there. People definitely buying at value there if they believe in Tesla's long-term play. Yeah, it could be interesting, guys. Could be interesting. Maybe not right at the open, but it could be something to watch on Tesla. Again, I'm not seeing anything great right now for the market open, but Tesla could be decent. Space, what do we have going on here? Again, another one just holding on to this level here on 29. Not great right now. It could get very nice though if they can get above this previous day close line, start hitting up against some of these previous day highs. That could get pretty good here if it wants to break out of this consolidation. But for the most part, it can just hit here and just start bouncing back and forth like it has been the last couple of days. So throw it back out to me. I know we have some other ones here that, you know what, I'll put it on here because we do have some possibles on here that should not even be on here. So maybe Space can take their spot. HGen, you know what? The way HGen traded yesterday, I might not have it on my list today. It was brutal. It really was. And managing your risk on this one, it was not an easy thing. So, looking at the spread and the way it was, the price action was. So, if you like the way this moved yesterday, maybe you can keep an eye on it today. Again, heavy volume yesterday. You might not get that today. If you look at this stock, it normally doesn't do a whole lot and it doesn't trade very well. Their daily is very, very crappy. So, I don't have a lot of hopes for that one today. Okay, so that is what we have over in our chat room. Let's take a look at our YouTube chat. Let's see what we got going on. TME is the first one of your choice. Yeah, TME, we have it on here. TME and VIPS both on. They're both very, very active. TME looks a little bit more manageable than VIPS. And we saw in the price action yesterday, we were watching it a little bit. TME seemed to be a little bit more predictable, more subtle. But again, it was still very, very choppy. So again, it's just besides this initial drop, it's just pure chop yesterday. So be mindful of that. Their daily, obviously, very extended towards the downside. Hopefully, we can get a nice little play on it today. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Definitely looking very good this morning. All right, heading down. Yeah, I agree. It is garbage. HGEN. You got to be careful with this, guys. The moves here were just brutal. So be careful with that. WMT, Walmart. Walmart's not a great intraday trading stock, guys. Again, they just don't trade very well. Their daily looks amazing, and I know a lot of people are buying down here for value, you know, because they believe Walmart obviously it's not gonna go anywhere. It's gonna come back up. So you have a lot of buying happening here on this specific stock after this huge drop all the way down to 127 from 147, 148. But as far as intraday trading, they're just a very difficult stock to trade. Although yesterday, if you look at yesterday, this is not bad for Walmart. This is actually pretty good action here. Nice double bottom here into the mid-morning, midday. So that was nice. For the most part, you don't get that type of action out of Walmart. DKNG. Let's see here. DKNG. I mean, they're up 1.4, 174,000. Big drop for them yesterday. They're bouncing off a level of support, this previous day close line. Yeah, it could be interesting. I'm going to keep it all because it has so much stuff in here already. So I'm not going to add that one. I want to add something that looks very, very good to kind of bump some of these off here. BA, again, very choppy yesterday. This morning, I'm not seeing anything great. Very light on the volume as well. I think a lot's going to depend on how the market is, guys. When the market is choppy like this, you know, these stocks that usually trade very well, like a BA, right? Look at the difference in candles here when it's trading well, when it's trending, or when it has its own news. Because we knew BA had that news with the 737 Max and some motors there that traded well. When things don't have their own catalyst like this and the market is choppy, you're not going to.
It's kind of strange, man. Because now we're on about 13 months where we've had just the easiest watch list. Now, easy not meaning like for our morning show with 1,000 tickers every day,
right,
on our gappers list, but this goes back to the basics, you know, of why we look for stocks in play. Things that aren't moving with the market. So just, you know, make sure you've got the RVOL on something you're watching. If the last few days when the market's open and I see what volumes are like, if it's not got good, if it doesn't have good RVOL, I'm dropping it.
Exactly. That is going to be very, very key, especially when, again, like the SPY is just choppy right now, going sideways. So, so I don't like BA right now, guys. Let's look at Nike. No, Nike's another one that doesn't trade very well. It has no bottom today. even with a catalyst, Nike can be brutal.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
CYAN. No, this is not looking good here. Let's take a look at Zoom. I had that on here as well. Again, not looking good neither. No volume right now. Only 10,000 shares traded. Look at the drop from Zoom, guys. Sitting over back in October at a 600, 500. Now down to 305. So still a great run. If you look at the whole big picture, Zoom just crushed it last year, obviously, with the pandemic. Still sitting pretty nice here, but big drop there. All right, we'll stop here, guys. Again, this list, I don't like a whole lot in here. We're going to chop this down. We might be watching a very, very small amount of stocks today. We'll see. All right, let's go over to our
have you looked at Discovery this morning? DISCA. It just started taking off a few minutes ago. A couple of people called it out. It's moving. It's in play. Spread is not pretty. Order flow is not real smooth to me, but it'll be in play.
Yeah, definitely getting some action right now. Again, just this drop that we've been seeing is just insane. So we'll definitely put that one on there as well. That will be in our main list. There's some other ones here that we can drop off that are not doing too well. Like JMIA, I like the daily here, right, for a possible breakout. But I don't know if it has the juice to do it with a choppy market. I just don't know if it can do that, right? So we'll have to be aware of that as well. Cool. Community events coming up, and we'll fine tune this list.
All right, guys. Tonight, 8 p.m., we've got Mike talking about transitioning to live or if you need to go back to sim if you're hitting some rough spots. So check that out, 8 p.m. tonight. The next week, guest speaker, Luke Jacoby from Benzinga. We'll talk about what kind of news matters and what you can just throw out the window. That'll be at 8 p.m. next Tuesday. Then tomorrow night at 8 p.m., we've got the week of Mike. We've got him doing his module 1, defining yourself as a trader. So check that out when you get a chance. All right. If you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade of the day. It obviously should have entries and exits so that we can see the trade. And then mark it up and put any kind of commentary you can on, why you took it and the strategy, everything else. Post it on Twitter, tag out Bearable Traders at MikeB_BBT and at NormBBT. Also use hashtags BBT Family, Day Trading, and Stock Market. We'll announce the winner every day in the closing bell shown on Twitter. And then the trades of the week will be amongst those trades of the day. Team will vote on it over the weekend, and we'll announce. We will announce that on Monday. If you're watching on YouTube, haven't been in the chat or one of the other platforms we're streaming to, you can give the chat room a try. It is at a discount. Use the promo code PREMARKET24. It'll give you 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room, including Monday night's technology and onboarding classes that are live.
All right, excellent, guys. Let's get to it. Let's start here with our watch list. So let's see what's on our secondary list. The Disca here we're going to keep very active. Might be one to move up into our main list. Tesla, it's okay. I like the daily on it for sure. I'm gonna remove it though. Let's get rid of it. And NDM, again, just a lot of great stuff as far as daily, but as far as everything else, it's not looking all that good. So let's remove this one as well. CSCW, this one is very active. We'll keep that one on there. HOFV, this one's dropping 14%. Very, very active. Just be mindful of this one. Can be pretty wild at times. Viacom, I think is definitely in play, guys, especially after it's so oversold here in the last couple of days. We are getting higher lows here on the daily also. Again, if we can get some continuation, we didn't get that yesterday. It had great volume. But the order flow and the price action was brutal, right? So the volume was there. It's just didn't get no continuation there. Very whippy, every candle overlapping the previous candle. We hope that for that to settle down, they're getting, again, insane volume, guys, what they're used to getting. They don't trade a whole lot, but 216 million the last 2 days. Look at the big difference of you're trading the same volume. Look how much of a drop you had here. You traded that same exact volume and look at the range. It's very small, and that gives you a lot of that choppiness we saw yesterday. But we'll keep that one on here. GameStop will be interesting. Let's see how some of this positive news affects their stock price this morning. IQ at the moment, yeah, that's okay. LI, let's see what we have here. I like the daily on LI. This could be a nice drop if we can get to some of these levels. X, I'm going to remove X. X can be very choppy at times. Get rid of that one. Space, yeah, I'm going to get rid of space. We just got to get rid of some stuff in here. And I think I still have way too many. Disca is good. CSCW is okay. HOFB. You know what? I'll wait for this for someone to call this out or to hit our scanners. Viacom is good. GameStop, IQ. I'm on the fence. You know what? I'll get rid of IQ today, and then we'll keep LI because I do like this daily a lot on LI for a possible drop there. We have MBRX as our low flow for today, but man, this is looking very choppy, even with 3.6 million. Not doing a whole lot, just bouncing between 10 cents over here back and forth. Let's see if we can break out of that. Up 22% this morning. All right, our main list, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see how we can fine tune this. JMIA, this one this morning, it looks okay. Pre-market action is all right. More of a possible, really. I'm going to move this one down. It is more of a possible. I don't think it looks all that great. We can move up Disca, though. Disca, I think, looks a little bit more active there. So CAN, I do like this morning. Let's get rid of, actually, some of these levels are okay, but let's get rid of it just to start fresh here. High of the pre-market sitting at a 1946. We'll watch that there. Again, Bitcoin is up this morning, so you're going to see a lot of these stocks try to come back today, hopefully. 2380 is a good level, great area of resistance right on there. Below that, you do have a nice level right on here. A couple of touches over at 2138. Again, you got a couple of days opening and closing right around there. Some actually bouncing right off of that, so that's good. And then towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Low of the pre-market, a little bit higher than the previous day close. It's sitting right at 1821. So let's just throw a level there just in case. And then below that, more highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. So I don't think you need to add any more, guys. Just 3 levels towards the top in your previous day, in your low of the pre-market. I think you pretty much cover here on CAN. So pre-market action looking very good. Volume is looking good on this one as well. GSX, again, I like the drop here for a possible bounce today, but it's not looking great though. This is not typically a stock I will watch. 34.76 high of the pre-market towards the bottom, the lows from the last 2 trading days, previous day close on there as well. Again, this is more of a possible. I might not even come up with 6 stocks that I want to watch today. So let's throw this down here. It just doesn't look all that great. VIPS very, very active, but I know I got to be very cautious with this as well. 30.40 high of the pre-market towards the bottom. The low of the pre-market is the low of yesterday, so slamming right onto that. Aside of that, you have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. You got yesterday creating the shorter range, and then the day before that, this would have been Friday, creating the bigger range, right? So you pretty much cover as far as levels there, hitting some key targets there. Now towards the bottom, if we were to lose the previous day close and the low from yesterday, you do have a great area of support right on here. Many touches on this 2707, couple of great bounces off of that. These are great levels of support because you can see the specific bounce right off that level, right? This thing gaps down and bounces right off of that. This one drops down here and bounces right off of that. Has a beautiful run right after. So 2707, you definitely want to have that level on there and put some significant weight to that. TME also on our list today. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days are doing a really good job. Previous day close has been the previous day close for a couple of days here. This one and this one as well. So again, you could tell how much support that has there. Towards the top, if we were to push above this pre-market high, you do have the high from yesterday. If we were to push above that, you got this day. Again, you go for the low of this day and the high of this one? Yes, but I'm just going to go right in the area of 2318, right? It's an area. I'd rather go here. That's the previous day close line for this day here, the opening day for this day here. So I'm just going to put that on there and just kind of cover this area. Again, these levels, guys, are always an area. They're not going to be exact. Instead of putting one level here, one level here, I'll be looking for that 2318 if it does decide to push up higher again, up against this 22 and then above. So as far as that, I think you're pretty much done as far as levels, looking pretty good. Great volume, up 3.2 right now. Here's Go EV, continues to drop. Again, we have not been down here in a very, very long time. You really have to go back down to March of 2020. So all the way down here, guys, at 921 is the lowest. I think this is your all-time low, I believe. And we're somewhat trying to push up against that, as we can see here. So nothing below that besides the 921. Towards the top, you do have a nice level here at 11. Again, big drop for them today. 1.2 million shares traded so far, down 18%. So this is, I believe, on earnings, Norm said, if I recall correctly. earnings yesterday, so they're not doing well there. We'll definitely keep an eye on that one. So that could be a good one. Disca, very, very active as well. Highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, doing a pretty good job. We're going to mark down the high of this pre-market at 43.10, being tested twice here, getting a little bit of a drop. Let's see if buyers step back in. Then around the price action, you have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Towards the top, above this 45, which is your high from yesterday. Let's see if we could find a good level. I believe we have one right on here. Good area of support and consolidation, 46.86. And I don't see anything great. I know this is going to be a nice level there. And you can see how that plays out later down the line too. Great area of support right on there, around 49.73. I don't think you're going to get that type of pop, but who knows? This thing is already very, very oversold, as you can see here. Let's see if the buyers are going to step in today to bring this up higher. So that is our main list this morning, guys. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not the best list, but we'll see. We'll see how things turn out. All right, let's take a look at our moderators. I'm looking forward to that because, man, this is one of those days where our list is not pretty. So let's bring this in right over here. All right, we will start with Thor. So he's watching PayPal. He's watching X, VIPS, secondary list, Viacom, TME, MU, Baidu, CCL, and NCLH for if the market is weak. Yeah, that's the key thing. We had to see the market move one way or the other to trigger some of these stocks to start trading well. Dima, she is watching VIPS, CAN, Raya, and the Qs. Jared is looking at Viacom, CAN, and anything else here? Nope, overall doesn't like a whole lot there. Tiffany, she is watching Viacom, CAN, and Tesla. Peter, IPO for today, TWOA, and his list, AMD, Viacom, TME, and then secondary list, Disca, VIPS, and GameStop for fun. When you know Peter's watching GameStop for fun, things are not well. John, he's looking at FU2U, Baidu, and also at Facebook here as well. Mike is looking at Facebook, John, and FUTU in his scanner there. So, all right. As you can see, guys, it is not a giant list this morning. It's a lot going on here as far as the gappers list, but not a lot looks great, guys. So my favorites today are definitely CAN. I like the way this thing is moving here. Very active, good volume. And I also like Go EV. I like this drop here we're getting today on it as well. So, all right, that is what we have. We have some time. We are well ahead of schedule because not a whole lot that we like this morning. Any questions we can answer? Any stocks you want us to take a look at that maybe we did not get a chance to review earlier today? Anything that's moving with volume? We're getting a few here. VIOC, VIOC. What's going on there? 817,000. What's the float on this one? Daily looks a little bit all over the place. VIOC. What do we have here? It is a low flow stock. Yeah, so it doesn't look great for a low flow stock sitting at 13 million. We want to see great pre-market action. You're not getting that right now. It could get better. Volume is at 817. We need a lot more than that, though, for this to be good, especially at the time of the day that it is now. PFMT, what do we have here? This one, great volume. This is more of a penny stock, though, trading under $1. So, again, we really don't trade these penny stocks. So be careful with this one. Let's take a look here. Harry's giving us Roku. Let's see what Roku's up to. We haven't seen them in a while. Yeah, again, pretty beat down here on Roku. So the daily looks interesting for a possible reversal, more of a swing type play. But right now, for intraday, I mean, just no volume on Roku at all. So we'll have to see. Again, the market's going to have a lot to do with how things move. PayPal. See PayPal here. PayPal today, 73,000 shares traded, up 1.1. Yeah, pretty choppy right now, though. I don't see anything great on it. Again, just pretty beat down for the most part here in the last couple of weeks. But again, nothing that I like as far as intraday, which is okay, right? It's not like it's going to look great every single day. Apple just continues to chop around here. Look at Apple, just back and forth chopping here. Yesterday, how was it yesterday? I don't remember watching it yesterday. Actually, no, we did. Had a great pre-market action. It had a great pop here. It was not bad. It's not bad on Apple yesterday. Today, right now, pre-market action is just pure chop this morning. So again, I don't have a whole lot of hopes for Apple today unless the markets do something here. Neo, let's take a look on Neo. Do we have volume on Neo? Volume is so light on Neo. We know how it is with Neo. We need that great volume. We're not getting that now. 850,000 could be great for another stock, but not Neo. How did it go yesterday? Wow, just look at the madness. Again, a couple of good pops if you're scalping quickly, nice engulfing if you get a great entry here. But man, look at this. This is just wow. Yeah, it's pretty bad on Neo. So again, we're just in this chop, guys. We got to be very careful. If it this is the when the rule of if you get stopped out three times, two times on your trade, you might want to just take a quick break because you just could be stuck in chop. Somebody asked Andrew yesterday, I forgot on what trade it was, why he didn't flip his position right away. And that sounds easy to do. When you get stopped out, why not flip your position? And you got to be careful with that because that can trigger a lot of over trading, right? Every time you get stopped out, well, it's got to go the other way. Let me go short without you first analyzing the trade. Okay, I got to analyze the trade. Here's my strategy. Now I'm looking for a short opportunity. You got to go through that whole process first. If you can do that and very quickly, you could just be taking the stock back and forth, being chopped around left and right. So you got to be careful with that reversing strategy mentality. Eamon, he's looking at CGC, TLRY, LI, BNGO, and Uber this morning as those last three are his secondary. So that's his list for today. So Roku, again, Roku not looking good. Neo is very light on volume, guys. Again, it was so choppy yesterday. You can see here the chop in the last couple of days. You're not getting these nice, beautiful, long days here. Look at these candles. You're not getting that on Neo. So will be interesting today if we are going to bounce back from this support area that we're clearly sitting on. This 3450 area. So let's see if that can get going today. Yeah, Brian, I agree. Neo was very choppy. GSX, I think, did we look at that one? What did we do with this? Yeah, I have it on here. Again, their pre-market action is very explosive right now. They're up 7%, 1 million shares traded. I just don't know how clean this thing is going to trade today. They had great volume the last 2 days. They did all right here in both of these drops. So we'll see. This is usually not the best intraday trading stock. Again, obviously the last couple of days that has changed. Let's see. I have it on my list for sure. Could be the one that makes up the number 6 here for me. Yeah, let's do that. GSX, we'll put it as the last main one on my list. I have six 5-minute charts that I have, and the 6, these will all be on there, and we'll see what we can get today. VIPS looks like it wants to break out. TME breaking out now. That's looking good. Go EV, hopefully it waits for us here for a possible breakdown if we can get that. This guy is good, and then GSX is good as well. All right, excellent, guys. That is what we have. I wish we had stuff that looked better, but we just got to be patient and see how things play out today. So thank you so much for joining us over on YouTube. We appreciate you guys being with us this morning. We know you have options. Trade safe today. And tonight we have our success webinar. So do not miss that at 8 p.m. Eastern time this evening. We'll see you there. And for those that have not checked out our community, you can do so with a pre-market 24 discount code. You can get a 7-day trial, right? So definitely check that out. And hope to see you guys in an onboarding class every Monday at 8 p.m. So take care over on YouTube. Brian and Andrew are up next. And speaking of Brian, he's just sent his list. He's watching GSX, VIPS, Viacom, TME, and Go EV. So very similar to what I have here. I don't have Viacom though, because it was just, oh yeah, I do have it as a possible right on here. So again, very similar list. And we'll see you guys over on YouTube tomorrow. Take care, guys. Stay safe.